We're trying to fit these fenders on here. I'm trying to stay focused on getting this freaking body done, and it is absolutely driving me nuts. Motivation level has absolutely tanked, and I'm doing every trick in the book to stay up here so that I can stay motivated and power through this thing. Still pounding out every single weekend, still working my set hours that I schedule myself, but boy, it is dragging. However, we are making tremendous progress the more we stay at it. So as you can see right here, we finally have this piece built out. This body line, this thing has haunted me since the beginning of this build. I had no clue how we were gonna build this little detailed body line into here, but thanks to Uncle Mike, he stopped by the other day, gave me a hand, did some pointers, and pounded this thing out, and we have it welded in. And I'm proud to say that at this moment, the passenger side is 100% done, besides underneath in the backside, which we'll do on the 2-post lift at my shop. This thing turned out really good. Now the focus is to keep the body caught up, not so much work on this fender right now, because again, as the previous video of the upholstery guy calls, we need this shell done. That's it. We are completely caught up to the point where, as you can see, everything in here is boxed in. There's no gaps left. There's no pieces left. We've made all the patch panels, and all we got left to do is during paint, pull this off and bedline undercoat this whole inside of this wheel well to protect it against rocks, dirt, stuff like that, road rash. So we completely made this body line right here, and we're about to make the other side. Got it welded in, got the shape to it. This one's definitely tricky to make it look right. I think it'll look like when it's done. I'm pretty freaking happy with it right now. It flows good, but it's very weird because from the factory they had it curved in there, and then we had to blend it out into here, which kind of rolls in. So it's like out, or it's like in, and then it dips out, and then it kind of rolls back. So pretty complicated curve, but we put a little bit of arch in it like that to kind of get this S pattern to roll in. And once all this is blocked out with body filler and sanded out, and all of this edge right here is smoothed out, I think it's going to be a perfect smooth transition. So we've got this side to tackle though, unfortunately, and I don't want to jinx myself, but I think we're getting really close to this shell of the car kind of sort of being done. So this side is a little worse than the other side. It doesn't have the rust repair the other side had. The other side I had to come down in here and section all this out. This side didn't have all that. We got a little bit right here that we got to catch towards the end, maybe pinhole there. But we don't have nothing here at the moment, nothing. At least the other side we had already welded in the bottom and set it, but this side seems to have lacked the whole build. So from the factory, this is where we left off. This goes all the way back to when we originally cut this car. We cut this corner completely out and just left it. I mean, that was that. So this side don't have the rust damage, which is good. It's got rust in here, but our actual donor piece does not really have the rust damage that the other side had. So that's gonna work in our favor. However, we do have to get this box, inner structure box piece stripped out, because what we need is this green piece first. And of course this Oxford red primer piece is the fender. We're gonna just need to figure out where exactly to set this body line. So basically distance from here to here, how that is set, we gotta measure that. They could be off, you know, by ½ an inch or so, these cars can be. But then the distance between here to here, how much these fenders are stretched, because that's gonna affect our wheel arch. So we can't just go off of this and then that be too close together or too far, and then it looks different left to right. So we got to kind of, if we have to split the difference in a couple areas, we might have to do that. But let's get this thing stripped down. All right, so we got our piece all stripped up, cleaned up on the back side, or removed, stripped up, whatever. I can tell you what though, back in the day, I'm glad they don't build cars like they used to, because it seems the spot welds are just all over the place. They're not even straight. Man, and working in the collision industry, I can literally now, on modern cars are done with robots, I can literally count the spot welds, or I can make a cut through the center of the spot weld on 2 parts, and as long as I put it back through the center of that spot weld, I know that that part's literally going to be very precise, like a 1/16 or less, because the spot welds are so spot on modern cars. That's like literally what I use to gauge stuff off of, is spot welds. The back side, that's what is that, 75 years of buildup. So I just took wire brush through it. I think we'll be fine. I think it'll be good for another 50 years or so. And then treated it with some weld through primer. So this is our piece that now we have to figure out where it goes. And I think it should go right to the end of this box, because that's the other side. The other side pretty much, I think, literally went to the end of that box. But we need to pull some measurements real fast and figure out exactly where this thing is going to fall at. All right. I just had a comment on the most recent video, and I greatly appreciate y'all pointing this stuff out. I can't fix stuff if nobody points it out to my attention, even though it really is frustrating for me. But we've been dealing with film like flash, where the lights are flashing in the background. And what it is just the interface of the LEDs. I need to cut that bottom off real fast. Hold that thought. So what it is I don't know if it's called the interface, whatever, it's the frequency the LEDs are on, and then the frequency that we're filming at. And it's all of a sudden causing issues. Now, when we used to film in the past, we didn't have these issues. We also used to only film in like 1080. So now, let me grab another clamp. Now we're filming in 4K. So we're filming in 4K at a higher frame rate, and that starts messing with stuff. When I started out, I just had a regular iPhone, I think 13 or 11. I think it was 11. And that was it, nothing else, literally just iPhone 11. We now film with, currently right now, this is being shot on the 15 Pro Max, I think, with one set of mics. We have a 13 on a tripod behind that. There's 3 sets of mics that we have, 2 cell phones, a GoPro that we very rarely use here, a moving dolly for certain shots, 3 tripods in here and 2 gimbals. No, 3 tripods, 1 gimbal, and a gorilla stick kind of setup. So for everybody that's like, dude, I could do YouTube, you can. You absolutely can do YouTube. Anybody can do YouTube, but it takes a lot of work. And as you start to try to grow, you get new challenges. And I'm trying my best to work through the current issues. So I just ask everybody to bear with me. Keep in mind that this is not where, like, I'm not just putting film out and not caring, okay? I'm trying to adjust stuff. But the problem with this is that we also were editing on iMovie when we first started out, and I miss iMovie. I like editing on that. I highly encourage you to start out on iMovie. But the shots just got too big. So the films got too big for iMovie. It was crashing continuously. It couldn't handle the higher resolution and stuff like that. I feel like I didn't have no issues until then, so now we're in CapCut. We're doing it on mobile, and I watch each of these videos normally in bed like 6:30, working all the way up till like 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock on just social media and YouTube. We're putting a big effort into it. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of freaking work as you grow and want to make a better product, which is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a better film. The issue with this is that I watch these videos 3 to 4 times, and these issues don't show themselves until after I upload it to y'all. So I don't see these. When I released the most recent one, I actually went back and tried to skim it to make sure that the problem wasn't there after I uploaded it, and I didn't see it. But the issue with that is after I upload it, it's private at first, but once I send it out to y'all and y'all point it out to my attention that the issue is there, I can't fix it or I lose all of them views. Like everything's gone, the algorithm, the views, everything. So once I post it, it's done, and we just have to hopefully try to fix it on the last one. All right, so trying to get all this right. We got 12 inches from there to here. We've got a 90 in here to keep that opening level. Now, all of this, once we're gonna basically build it from here over eventually when we do the fenders, just so you're kind of on board. I know we're not there yet, but if you're wondering about the wheel openings, we have to test that the rear suspension drops down enough to take the wheel off. And once we test that, then we can either cut and move up our wheel arch until we can get the wheel off, or we can leave it like it is and just fill this in. So we've also got to make some cuts up here. So there's gonna be a lot of work that goes on this fender still once we get to that point, but we're just focused on the body right now. So on the body, we've got 12 inches from here to the door jamb. So that's gonna be it. I mean, that's my reference point on that each side. And then I've got my 2 5/8 between here. So the extensions on the wheel arches, they're extended 2 5/8 in here. And then that matches the curves. So there's really, this don't matter because this is set off of this. You can't move that, because if you move this up here, then that's gonna bring this up and not make your wheel arch nice and straight. So that pretty much just is what it is. All right, so to get into the part that we're all here for, is it's how do we connect this to this, all right? So here's the body line that we are trying to create, all right? So it's got a kind of a curve in, out, around, and back. We have to put that in there. Now, one problem making this look right, which again, it'll look right when it's done, but it's tough joining these up, is these have two different curves. So this curve wants to go like this right here, all right? So that's the projected path that wants to go on, because this used to be all the way down here. But now we have opened up this radius and made it bigger. So think of it as you have a little circle, all right? If you change half of that circle to a big circle, then that curve is different, and that's what we're running into. This one, you can see, kind of wants to go ahead and start curving like this. So they're never going to intersect perfect unless you were to come like way down here and way up here and completely remake this whole piece, which I don't want to do. So what we did was we kind of just blended them together, all right? This saves time, and in the end, it's not going to look bad at all. So you can see over here on this side, these are just blended in together, and when everything's painted and the bodywork's done, everything will look good. This whole wheel arch will get sanded into one piece, you know, swiped out with filler and everything, and it'll blend a lot better. So the blending is like 75% done on the metal work, because I'm not into metal finishing on this channel. It's just not my thing. I've said it 100 times. So Mike, when he was over here the other day, he cut this for the other side. So this is basically our template. This is not square. This has a little bit of arch to it. So if we put it down the side of the door, all right, if we line our bottom up and our top up, you can see how this has a little bit of arch into this curve. So we've basically eyeballed it, and I did trim this side a little bit more to try to work some of that out. And I am gonna cut this back just a little bit, I think, whenever we get down here. About split the difference to try to get them to roll in together. But basically that is the curve that we're looking for right there, okay, to get these two to blend together. So that's how you get your template on that piece. Now originally what I was gonna do was bend this thing at a 90. All right, this is where I had to call Mike yesterday. I said, Mike, can you help me out, bud? I was like, I'm not 100% wrapping my head around how to get this piece. So before I called Uncle Mike, this is what I had, all right, which is not terrible, but this piece right here is definitely too sharp. Our piece does not bend that sharp. It has more of a rounded thing, which makes it more complicated. So you can see our piece, how it looks, and then if I flip this over and compare it to my piece, all right, you can see that my piece is a little bit more of an angle, but it's not bad. I mean, you could technically probably blend that out, but what I was trying to do is basically, this is just a straight piece, bend this at a 90 and then form it in, and then I was going to take the stretcher, all right, and then stretch this side so that we put this curve in. All right, that's not what Mike did. That's when Mike come over here and said, no, we make the piece into a curve and then we fine tune it. And we use a combination of these dies right here on the bead roller that you're about to see when we start making this piece, and tipping dies. So we're gonna slowly tip it a little. Now his sample piece that he made, we did make a sample piece, is this one, all right? So we made this little section sample piece and made it really fast. And I didn't film me and Mike doing the first time because honestly, y'all, I like having friends too. And everything's not about YouTube. Sometimes it's about just hanging out with your friend and asking for help. And in the moments, I try to just not pick the camera up. So this is Mike's piece, all right, compared to the factory piece, all right, that he made as a sample. So pretty good. And this is not fine-tuned. Sometimes things just don't go as planned. So this piece has to be shrink and stretched, and it's almost there. As you can see, it has some curve in it, but it's got a curve in both directions. So one side has to be stretched, one side has to be shrinked. Anyway, I went to stomp on my shrinker and stretcher. Mike was using it the other day, and it was just bending. I don't know if y'all even remember the previous setup that we had, but it was jankety. This is like version, I think, 4 or 3 that I've had a shrinker and stretcher. The problem with that is I'm in a very small garage. HOA community, supposed to be a 2-car garage, but if you had 2 cars in here, you couldn't open all the doors at the same time. So it's basically 1.5-car garage, and we have to have everything compact. All the tools have to serve kind of like multi-purpose use or multi-storage. So we had crafted our shrinker and stretchers into the side of our metal brake, and the little design that I had threw together, trying to just be fast and easy, was just bending and jankety, but I got it fixed now. So I've got this thing freaking solid now. I added another bar down there. That's the same stuff the chassis is built out of, so it's just stupid freaking thick. Added another bar off of here, added a leg down, that way we can add on to it. Added this and just welded everything. I want to show you one cool thing though that I had no clue about. I was about to take this shrinker and stretcher back to Harbor Freight. Just please bear with me, especially if you're new like me. I didn't have anybody to teach me this stuff. I had to learn it all on my own. So this thing didn't want to go down. Like, it would pivot up like this, all right? And then it didn't want to go down. So you'd literally have to kick the piss out of it to get this thing to fold over. And what it was is it was pivoting too straight up, all right? It was pivoting up like this. So it wasn't stopping right here. It didn't have that in it. You had to get it past that point of resistance before then it would start pulling down. I had no clue, again, I ain't have nobody teach me this stuff, that this little set screw right here, this acts as a bump stop, okay? And so if you screw that out more, that changes this pivot so it folds it out more and keeps it out, versus if that set screws all the way in, then this piece is all the way up. I've learned you don't want it all the way up, because then it's hard to get it to where it folds over. Once it folds over, then it operates smooth. But I'm fixed now, so once I jump back on this thing, we should be able to get our piece done. When we're shrinking and stretching this, we're actually I'm trying to make the curve that I want before I make the cut. So I'm just kind of looking at the edge right here where this bead roll is, and just how it flows into the cut. So that don't look bad at all right there. Now this up here is overlapping, so it's got to be cut back. But this wants to curve in more, and that wants to curve in really sharp, so it's hard to get them to blend together. We can't take out too much of this because we have a nut cert right there, and I want to keep everything factory as possible. And we don't want to take out a lot of this because this is factory sheet metal, so we don't want to like come way down here and notch. I just don't want to do it, so I try to just not create more work on myself. So that's all we're doing. And on the shrinker and stretcher, if you're not familiar with this, basically, if you stretch the metal, it makes a curve. So on this outside, like this, how it's curved, you have to put this in here and use the stretcher. So it's gonna stretch this metal right here. As it stretches this metal, it's going to take this and curve it. And then on the inside, you can see that we're kind of like curved in like this. We're kind of turning like this. So we want to shrink this side. Because when you put it in here, it has arrows on the front. And as we bunch this metal up and shrink it, it's going to make this outer corner bend like this. So it's a combination of shrinking, stretching, and if you go too far, you have to undo it. You can see that we're kind of straight on the bottom and then starting to curve. It's because I'm kind of matching this. This bottom piece right here kind of looks more straight, but even from the factory, I don't know if you can see it in the video, it's kind of wiggly wobbly. Kind of goes like that and then curves straight. It's got a little dip into it. So this stuff ain't perfect, and we're not looking for perfection either. So I think I'm happy with that. I think it's time to pull out the cutoff wheels and the welder and get this piece sectioned in on this side. That way we'll go ahead and pull this wheel off. We'll box all that metal in this morning and get this where it's finished up, where we could put this fender back on. All right, so we got all of that welded up, patched in, panels built, the outside done, everything's stitched up. Time for this thing to go on. Now, what I put on this, if anybody's wondering, is this is just weld through primer. You probably should be putting epoxy primer on it, but here's my whole thing, is if I have to go back through here and change anything, cut anything, grind anything, weld anything, then I'm gonna have to grind all the primer off. If I put weld through primer on there, I don't have to grind it off. I can weld right over top of this primer. So this helps protect the metal from flash rusting, but it also allows me to weld to it. Now, before paint, you're supposed to get all the weld through primer off. It's only supposed to be between the metal. It's not supposed to be on a painted surface. But in my opinion, I think we'd be perfectly fine just Scotch-Brite soap and water, scuffing this stuff up really good. Inside these wheel arches is getting like a lizard skin or a bed liner anyway. That stuff is messy. It sticks to pretty much anything, so I don't think we'll have any problem with that. The whole bottom side of the car will probably get painted with a single stage paint. Single stage is messy, it's nasty, and again, single stage pretty much sticks to anything. So again, I don't see us having a problem sticking single stage to it either. Now, I don't want it all over the side of the car. That is getting base coat, clear coat, it's getting the high build primers, it's getting hand blocked, it's getting all of that appropriate stuff. Man, what am I, 13? Sweating this week. It's getting the stuff done correct, the correct steps. So therefore, we are not going to put weld through primer all over the side of the car. That's why it's not all up here. I do want to get the stuff into Bodywork really soon. It's starting to bug me, but we're not going to do that. But that's just in case you're wondering and you think, should you put primer on your project? Just stop and think about that. If you got to go back, you got to do any welding, you're going to have to remove anything that you put on there, anything besides weld through primer.